Okay, I think we're recording now. So I want to, actually, first I want to address a couple things. I did an interview with one of Ghislaine Maxwell's friends. Yes, Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine. The one and only Ghislaine Maxwell. Laura Goldman. And as I said before, my Airbnb. Hey, Tony. My Airbnb has perhaps the slowest internet I've ever encountered. It reminds me of my grandparents' internet. So, like, my interview with Dr. Silver, for example, I wanted to get that uploaded on Saturday, but I don't think it got posted till Monday. And it takes like 10 hours to upload one of my interviews on this internet connection. But fortunately, I'm leaving this godforsaken state today. I'm going back to God's country, the Midwest. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm going back to back to the heartland of America, the Midwest. Switching arms. Today, so if you guys want to see what an airport looks like during a pandemic, I can definitely show you that, and we'll see how many people are on my airplane. But yeah, for my interview with Ghislaine, with Ghislaine's friend, as I said before, the internet at my B&B is extremely slow. So I don't know why this happened, but it uploaded and then it just went on public right away instead of premiering. So it didn't notify anyone that I posted it. So I plugged it on my socials, so hopefully people, head over and watch that interview. It's definitely, I didn't let her off the hook, but I also wasn't a dick to her either, because I know like a lot of people really have a lot of animosity towards her for even being friends with Ghislaine. So yeah, I did ask her some tough questions and she answered in turn, but I gave her a chance to give a spiel on her prison activism, which I really support. Check out old boy. Got an old man here just chilling, enjoying the morning. Yeah, he's an old timer. Looks like has a bit of vision issues, but just enjoying the morning like me. So yeah, go check out that interview with Miss Goldman. But I want to talk as I'm walking over to the post office to send something about plebes. And what I mean by plebes and peons, I don't mean people who, because I'm not elite by any means, but I mean, I think by virtue of being American, you're automatically in like the top 10% of the world in terms of standard of living and wealth. Even homeless people here, they live better than most of the world. But so I'm not really talking about socioeconomic plebes. I'm talking about kind of the intangibles a bit, curiosity, what you do, what activities you do, do you travel, are you friends with, interesting people, how open-minded are you, stuff like that, and this is something that I definitely struggled with when I was younger, and I think it's something that every young person struggles with, but for different reasons, and that's feeling accepted by other people. And when you have done things that not many other people have done, when you've experienced things that most people that you know, most Americans, because I'm American, haven't done or aren't interested in. I think even more importantly, you know, it's one thing to not have, you know, not share an experience with someone, but I mean, if you share a similar experience, if you're interested in what they're doing, that's different. You know, you can connect with people. But not only that, but if you're above average, and I'm not saying that I am, you know, one of a kind or anything like that. Good morning, Harley. When you're above average in one way or another, or just overall, it's going to be hard to find people to connect with by definition. And like I said before, this is something that I've struggled with, and I think it's something that anyone who's interested in kind of maybe edgy topics, or has done, you know, maybe you've gone to Jamaica or something like that, you have experiences that other people can't relate to. And just speaking for myself, I connect with people who are much older than me much easier than I connect with people my own age. And I can't help but think that sometimes it's because I intimidate them in some way, and that's not to say that, you know, it's not my fault sometimes, because I'm an asshole sometimes like anybody else. Walk and breathe. Yeah, I need to do that. I hold my breath when I do jiu-jitsu too. I need to work on that. When I'm in a position, you know, or wrestling, you know, it's not good to hold your breath. I do it when I'm, you know, when I'm thinking too, when I'm like in between thoughts, and I need to break that habit. It's really unhealthy. But safe travels today. Thank you, Janet. How would you describe a plebe? Well, a plebe, how would I define one? Just like your run-of-the-mill person who's, you know, I just think most Americans are not very intellectually curious, and almost none of them have passports, which to me is absurd. So, I mean, most Americans have never left the country. Hey, Chris. And I've been to, and again, I'm not trying to, yeah, exactly, life experiences. Again, I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to boast. I'm trying to talk about an idea, a concept of relating to people. And if you're, again, if you're unique in some way, if you're two deviations above the standard, I think it's, yeah, of the average, excuse me, 2 standard deviations above the average, which I'm not saying I am, again, and this is hard to measure, but by definition, it's gonna be hard to find people to relate to, you know? I mean, take my home state. Love consuming and, yeah, there's not really a whole lot of intellectual curiosity from Americans. For example, my younger brother, he had this teacher in middle school who said he would never, ever leave the state of Wisconsin. If that's not closed-minded, you know, I don't know what is. And yeah, again, just take my home state for example. Other than that teacher example, most of them, you know, they only care about the Packers and the Brewers and getting drunk on Fridays. And I mean, that's cool. That, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge people for that, you know, for going to the bar every weekend, or, you know, watching Fox every night or watching CNN every night, because that's their routine. I'm not judging them for that. What I'm saying, yeah, NASCAR, and again, I'm talking about my home state of Wisconsin, so nobody get butthurt here if I'm talking about, you know, I'm not talking about all of America, but I am talking about Americans in general at a macro level, not just with regard to what Wisconsinites do. And I love the Packers, man, but if they're not going to be in the Super Bowl, I'm not going to waste 2 hours of my precious day watching them. Oh, thanks, Janet. Yeah, I don't think many of my viewers are really average people either. Prozac? Dang. What do you mean by that, Harley? So, yeah, like, you know, my state of Wisconsin, they love their beer, their cheese, their brewers, their packers. And these are like people I went to high school with too. None of them have left the state. I mean, not none of them. A lot of them have not even left the state. They're still in that hodunk town, you know, doing what their dads did or their parents did, and, you know, going to the bar on the weekends, marrying locals, you know, and I mean, that's fine. Again, that's totally cool, but it's not what I'm interested in. And if you're someone like me in that sense, because there are lots of people out there who, you know, who are very, very interesting people, but they're hard to find. They're hard to find. You know, someone who's not an average person is by definition going to be a minority fraction of the population. And this used to be a real struggle for me in a sense of connecting with people. But it just doesn't bother me anymore, you know. I don't, if I can't connect with some average IQ person anywhere who's just interested in average stuff and does average things and has average abilities, again, no judgment passed. But that doesn't bother me anymore if I can't relate to those people or connect with them, you know. My people are by definition the minority. And I find it easier to, and this is something I used to do too, is when I was in college, I would try to placate people in social situations, and specifically these fucking beta ass dudes, these fucking beta ass soy boy beta males, which by definition again are the majority of guys. Alpha by definition is the minority, you know, 20%. And again, I'm not necessarily saying I'm that 20%, but I'll let other people make that decision. And I used to try to placate these guys in social situations whereby, you know, say it's just me and I'm in a group, we're all chatting, I just met some people at a party, and my mere presence intimidates one of them, right? And why is that? It's because there's a girl there. His girlfriend's standing right there, and I'm not even trying to get at her. And maybe she's not even, you know, checking me out. Maybe we're just chatting. Maybe I'm not even looking at her. But people who are insecure and feel threatened by you are going to feel insecure and threatened by you, almost regardless of what you do. And I used to try to placate these little soy boys. I think because I wanted social acceptance from people, but you know, it just doesn't bother me anymore if I make someone feel threatened. If I make someone, I mean, that's not my problem. You know, if your girlfriend is checking me out, I mean, that's, you know, maybe yell at your girl. I'm not really sure. That's not my, you know, that's not my deal. And even if she's not checking me out, chop soy. Chop soy. The Soviet Union. I'm leaving the Soviet Union today. My flight leaves at like 1. So, yeah, anybody who missed the beginning, I'm gonna share what a airport looks like in my my plane looks like during a pandemic. So, and it's not even just, you know, it's not even just guys too, it's girls, you know. I don't have time hanging out with lame ass average interview on British prison today. Addy, yes or no? What do you mean by that, Chris? Yeah, anybody who didn't see my interview with Ghislaine Maxwell's friend got posted, so if people want to check that out. But finishing my point, you know, it's not even just guys I'm talking about. Caddy, yeah, that's what Mr. Dawson said about American girls, and I don't like American girls. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. And when I say that, I don't mean literally every single, you know, for all those Simple Simons who may be listening now or in the future. You know, these straw men. Oh, you're just generalizing. You think all girls are the same. Is that what I said? Or is that what you're inferring that I said? Fucking douchebag, dumbass. Sorry, I need to chill out. You know, it's not even just guys, it's girls too. It's like, you know, most American girls, and I'm talking about young people. Ken and Karen. They just kind of suck. Like, you go to a university, and just speaking on my own experience, man, there's a lot of traffic for you know, being this early. I suppose people are going to work, maybe, but you know, in Madison, especially the white girls, you know, but you know, any of the sorority girls, they all look the same. You know, and it's like to the point where it's just 100% a stereotype of this American girl of the, you know, the 20-something right now, which she wears black yoga pants. She has blonde hair that's dyed. None of them are actually blonde. You know, they're all dyed. They're all brunettes who dyed their hair blonde. And, you know, or they get the blonde highlights. And none of them are really in shape. You know, they all kind of are homogenous thinkers. I'm going back to the Midwest. Back to America's heartland. Back to God's country. That requires some lady chunk too. Oh, he's got the gray fox look going on, Mr. Poker. Got the silver sterling, the Mr. Sterling look. I hope I got that going when I'm like 50, 60. That distinguished look. But I'm kind of, you know, going off on a tangent here. So maybe, you know, I don't think the older people don't necessarily, yeah, Wisconsin. I don't think older people necessarily, I hope you didn't take offense to that, Mr. Poker. They don't have that problem, I don't think, as much as young people, because young people, especially, you know, like the 16 to 20, early 20s age, they, you know, I remember reading it in like the sociology book, I think when I was younger, where you look throughout the lifespan of people and see which relationships are the most influential at any given point. And for young people, it's their peers. For, you know, like 15, 16 to like early 20s and even up into late 20s. Yeah, and that's something that I'm kind of coming into now, I think, for the first time in my life, where I have a decent understanding of myself. I mean, I think in maybe a decade I'll be like, I had no idea who I was. But I think that always happens, doesn't it? Until you're dead, maybe. And, you know, you know, for old people, it's their family, right? It's their immediate family, because that's who they want to be around. And same with, I think, children too. It's their family who are the most influential. And then, you know, once you get to teenage years and 20s, it's your peers. And then it's your spouse, right, in the 30s and 40s. and then your children, once you have children, and then your family once you're older, you know, once you hit your twilight years. So I don't think older people have the problem quite as much as younger people, but it's just something that doesn't bother me anymore, you know, relating to people who, you know, they're just average, and that's what I mean by plebe, you know, just average people. So that's all I want to say. Leaving today, and I'll probably talking to Neil. Oh yeah, let me hit up Sam. We haven't spoken in a while, Mr. Samworth, the prison guard, but we will soon, I promise. And I know Mr. Samworth would like to speak with me again soon. I'm sure of it. Oh, he doesn't like it when I say Mr. Samworth, but yeah, leaving today. So I'm gonna sharing some of my my trip if you guys want to see it live. Otherwise, I can edit it too, because I'm sure the airport's gonna be empty, and I don't know, maybe I'll be the only one on my flight. We'll see. So until later, people, stay frosty. Don't give an F if you can't relate to plebes and peons. And if you do, that's okay too. If you can, that's totally fine, you know. You know, those great friends that are hard to find. Stay frosty. Until next time.